Hello, class. I have some examples up here on the board to help you with Unit 1.2. This will be in a different chapter. There's a PDF for it in the course content. And then none of this really directly relates. It's all there, but I'm packaging it up a little differently. And it's going to help you with exercise 1 in your conventions homework, which is your trickiest part. So there are several types of sentence structures, and I'm kind of a picky guy when it comes to my sentence structures. This first one is called a simple sentence. And it's only called a simple sentence or an independent clause because it contains a subject-verb combo, just one subject-verb combo. So let me grab a pen. So this one is a simple. I wish it was a little darker. Let me grab a darker one. Simple. It has one subject, verb, simple sentence. The next one is what we call a compound. It actually takes two independent clauses, or slash independent clause. And it takes two of them. There's one here, and there's one here. And I kept them pretty much the same, structure. I was alone, I was afraid. And we're combining this in one of the most common ways we do in the English language with an and. And if we combine two independent clauses with an and, we need a comma. That's first comma rule. That's like your primary comma rule. So I was alone, comma, and I was afraid. If you leave it out, it's called a fused sentence, right? And if you get rid of the and, it's called a comma splice. So two mistakes there that can happen by just not getting the coordinating conjunction and your comma. Coordinating conjunctions, just in case you're curious, are and, or, for, nor, but, yet, and so. Those are your coordinated conjunctions. So we're going to learn to pay special attention to these this semester, because when they get inserted into sentences, it often means that we have a comma rule. I got to point to the board, it's easier. All right, so that is a compound, meaning two parts if you have a compound fracture, right? So let me get rid of my coordinating conjunctions for the moment. This here, the third example, is called a complex sentence. And a complex sentence has a subordinating conjunction. A coordinating conjunction, like and, helps to guide two things together. But a subordinating conjunction makes this weird interplay structure. So here, we have the same, I was left alone. I was left alone. But by the inclusion of this subordinating conjunction, it was after I was left alone. And now we're waiting for the next part. Comma, I was growing more afraid. After I was left alone, comma, I was growing more afraid. So we took an independent clause, and we actually made it a subordinate of the next clause. It needs the next clause to make meaning. And so this phrase now is no longer an independent clause, even though it contains one right here. It's subordinated. So that's a complex type 1. That's a complex with a comma. But there's a complex structure, no comma. And that is when you embed your subordinating conjunction. I was afraid is still an independent clause. And because I was alone. And it's the same structure, just no comma. So you almost never see a comma before the word because. It almost never happens. Last but not least, we have a fragment. If you write fragments, and this is it. So, and really, this is like the last lesson. For the first time in my life, it's actually two prepositional phrases. There's no subject to the sentence. We're waiting for the rest of it. Right? And so this is a good example of a fragment. What it usually means that it came from was something before it. I was afraid because I was alone for the first time in my life. We took a pause when we said it, and sometimes you've learned that maybe a pause is equal to a period, but not here, right? That'd actually be a comma. And so this got left alone, and it's kind of a standalone clause, but it's not an independent clause, right? This is a fragment. So hopefully this helps you with identifying your subjects and verbs, etc. And good luck this week.